everybody. Welcome to Learning at Home with Mrs. V. So this week, yes, you have 2 videos. Count them, 2 videos. All right, so we are going to piggyback on the first video that I did, and I'm going to ask you now to do some things with me, and then afterwards, I'm going to ask you to do some on your own. So be ready, be listening. Okay, so you're going to need a piece of paper and a pencil, and the more you write down, the better you're going to do on the activity that you need to do on your own. All right, so if you think back, we talked about putting fractions on a number line. And we also took those fractions and created decimals and percents from those. That's going to be very helpful to you. All right, with this activity, what we're going to do is we're going to take that information and we're going to use that to estimate. What's estimate? We're going to be guessing about the answer. So guessing is not, oh, okay, I just think it's this. No, not that kind of guessing. We're going to be doing educated guesses like we do with a hypothesis in science. So pay close attention. All right, so you'll notice I started a number line up here, just like I created when we did the activity last time. And so I already have 0. I have half, which is the same as 50%, or 5/10. And then we have 1 at the end. Now, if we wanted to create this and add in the fourths, we would have to stop here at 4/4. 4/4. We would have 1/4, 2/4, which is the same as half, and we would have 3/4. And remember we said this is the same as quarters, so this 1/4 would be 25 cents or 25%. So we could write it as 25%, and I'm getting a little sloppy, I apologize. 25% or 25/100ths, if we wanted to write that in decimal form. Then we could write this as 50%. This would be 3/4, which would be 25, 50, 75 cents, or 75% of $1. All right, now, when we went back here, when we looked at thirds, we said, well, when the denominator gets bigger, then the amount of pieces you get, if you only have 1 piece, let me backtrack that, hold on. Okay, so if I have 1/3 comparing to 1/4, 1/4, I'm taking 1 piece out of 4 pieces. So I'm getting a smaller amount of the whole than I would be with 1/3. There we go, that's what I was trying to say. So with 1/3, 1/3 is going to be slightly larger than 1/4. Remember we said that was 33%. And the way you could figure that and make sure that Mrs. V is right, you could take your calculator. Remember, fractions are just, that fraction bar is the same thing as saying divided by. So you can go ahead and take your calculator and do 1 divided by 3 equals, and we have the 33%. It looks strange because there's lots of 3's after it, but we're estimating here. So we don't have to be exact, we can be approximately correct. So we've got 33%. So if we had 2/3, 2/3, remember we said it's going to double this, so that was 66%. So the 2/3 would be in between half and 3/4. And so we could write 2/3 as 66%. Okay, then we still have to add 1/6 and 1/8 on here because we have these as examples. So 1/6, I know, is going to be, since the denominator is getting bigger and we still have just 1, I'm going to get a smaller amount of the whole. So I'm going to go ahead and see what that is in percents, just for giggles. All right, so 1 divided by 6, and I've got 16%. So 1/6 will go here at 16%. And then I also have 1/8. So again, we have 1 out of 8 that I have, that I'm getting. So that is going to be less of the whole than 1/6. So I'm going to check that here in my calculator, and so I'm going to do 1 divided by 8, 1 divided by 8, and that's going to give me 12.5%. So that's going to be less, so 1/8 at 12.5%, 12 5/10%. All right, so I have all of the fractions I'm going to be dealing with and their percent counterparts written up there. And you know, you can take the percent and you can just go ahead and say, oh, I want to write that as a decimal. Oh, it's really actually pretty easy. You just take the 75 and put a decimal in the front. That's all there is to it. All right, the 66%, you just put the decimal and then the 66. So it's not that difficult. So we've kind of related all of the fractions to their decimal and percent counterparts. And I'm going to use this information to help me with these. I've kind of squished this 1/4 and 1/2, so I'm going to scoot them down. 1/4 plus 1/2. 1/4 plus 1/2. All right. So I'm going to take a look at these addition problems, and I want to determine, are these addition problems going to equal less than 1, or will they be more than 1? So when I'm talking 1, I'm talking 1 whole, okay? All right, so I'm going to use this number line in order to figure that out. Okay, so I've got 1/4, which is right here, and 1/2, which is right here. So I can go ahead and take a look at that and say, okay, well, 1/4 is the same as 25%. I've got 1/2, which is the same as 50%. And I'm looking for something that gives me 100% or more. Now, when I look at this is only going to give me 75%. So this is not going to be more than 1. It's going to be less than 1. So I'm going to write 1/4 plus 1/2 under less than 1. And you see how I use the percents? It makes it so simple. All right, so now I'm going to go down here and I'm going to take a look at 3/4 plus 2/3. Now I've got 3/4 and I have this up here, and it is 75%. So it's not going to take a whole lot to push me over the edge to get me to 100% or more. So now I've got 2/3, which is 66%. Well, when I add those up, I know I'm going to get more than 100. So my 3/4 plus 2/3 is going to be more than 1. 3/4 plus 2/3 is more than 1. So I got this one done and I got this one done. Boy, those were pretty simple. All right, 1/6 plus 1/3. All right, again, I'm going to refer back to my number line. 1/6, I know, is 16%. 16%. And plus 1/3, I come up here, and that is 33%. And remember, you can check these with me. You can check these on your calculator and make sure we have all the percents right. All right? So then when I add this up, this is not going to give me 100%. So when I add this, if I change the denominators and I added this is going to give me less than 1. So 1/6 plus 1/3 belongs over here. All right, one more. I've got 1/8 plus 2/3. Now 2/3 is getting pretty close to the 100% or to the whole mark, all right? So let's see if 1/8 pushes it over the edge. So we've got 12.5%, and then we have 2/3, which is 66%. Well, I'm looking at that, and that's only going to be, what, 78%. That's still going to be less than 1 whole. 1/8 plus 2/3. All right, so I hope you're seeing how to use the information we gather from a number line to kind of estimate. And it's a good way for you to go back and say, okay, did I do this the right way? Does this something look funny? Wait a minute, I can use a number line. So that is a strategy that you can use to make sure that your answers, when you're adding fractions, make sure those make sense. All right? So I have some for you to do on your own. And you can refer back to this. You can watch the video again. Refer to those wonderful notes that I know you took. All right? Keep watching, keep thinking, always stay curious, and I'll see you next time.